Hi, everybody. I want to talk a little bit about resumes and cover letters. I know many of you probably have resumes and cover letters that you've worked on over the years, and hopefully you've had a chance to dust those things off and look at them a little bit more closely over the last couple of months. Frankly, I think it's always a good idea to keep a resume and cover letter handy and up to date. You never know when you might run into someone and have an opportunity to explore. It wouldn't be the first time that students in our program or alumni have run into someone in a restaurant or the grocery store, had an interaction, and found an opportunity to apply for a new job or a new internship. So uh, it really does pay to have these materials up to date and ready to go. For all of you, it's even more important because you're going to be applying for internships for Capstone. Before I go too much further, I do want to just highlight the really valuable resources available at the Career and Internship Center at the University of Washington. Lots of great webinars and seminars and workshops. Here are just a couple of examples from previous years. I would strongly encourage you to check out the materials, learn about what services they offer, and yeah, use it to your advantage. A couple of things I do definitely want to highlight. One is that there's actually an online resume review that you can do through the center. You can just upload a copy of your resume and they will give you feedback online. It's simple, it's easy, and really, frankly, everybody should be doing it. I also want to highlight all of the valuable webinars that are available in their resource library. These recorded webinars cover things like preparing for interviews, writing cover letters, resume writing basics, and a whole lot more, including how to use LinkedIn and other networking tools. So please, I encourage you to check it out and learn more about what they have to offer. All right, so as part of the process of applying for a capstone internship, particularly those internships in the catalog, it's important to know what kinds of application materials you will prepare. The most common things to prepare are a cover letter and a resume. When you are applying to an internship in the catalog, you will submit those as PDFs, and ideally you will customize these materials for each internship. You'll focus on your specific qualifications and the description that the supervisor provided, and you'll be framing the experiences that you've had in your life to highlight how you are a good fit for these positions. And when I say framing, I mean it's really about thinking about any experience that you've had and what you've learned from that experience that can be valuable. And in this case, I'm primarily thinking about what we call transferable skills. Transferable skills are those skills that you glean from one activity or experience and can be applied elsewhere. So they can be transferred to other opportunities. These are very generalized things like interpersonal skills, time management skills, customer service skills, you name it. There's lots of opportunities to use these transferable skills. Now, when you prepare these materials as a PDF, you're going to send those materials to the site supervisor directly using the email that is provided within the catalog. That email address is there. You're going to prepare a short message. The body of the message just needs to indicate the internship that you're applying for, who you are, maybe some tidbit about uh, how much you enjoyed meeting them at the meet and greet, and giving them some information about how best to contact you or when to contact you to set up an interview. Be gracious, be kind, uh, show your enthusiasm. These are all things that you should be doing within this message. Now, the thing that I think is really important to consider is what the purpose is of these materials. They are complementary materials, not duplicative. The cover letter's purpose is to provide context and a personal touch, and it should complement your resume. I generally think the cover letter should explain why you're interested. It should explain your most relevant skills and experience and your enthusiasm. and express your knowledge of the position and your familiarity with the organization. Those are all things that you can do with the cover letter. I like a 3 to 4 paragraph cover letter, keeping those paragraphs short and sweet and to the point, and a cover letter really that shouldn't be any longer than a page. First paragraph is why you are writing to apply for a particular internship. The middle paragraphs are explaining what you have to offer and why you think you're a good fit. And the final paragraph generally is what you're including in your applications and how you and they should get together. So how you will follow up, how they should follow up, and so on, sort of scheduling. Here's an example that I provide to everyone in class. And so you can see the general layout of this 4-paragraph cover letter. The first paragraph specifies the exact internship position that the student is applying for. The second paragraph lays out the educational experiences they believe prepare them for the position. The third paragraph lays out some of the transferable skills they've gained from other work experience that they can apply in this circumstance. And then the last paragraph just summarizes everything, explains what they're including in their application materials, and provides some guidance for connecting in the future. So that's the cover letter. The resume complements the cover letter. And I will say that I agree with the point that the resume's job is to help you get an interview. It's providing a summary of important information that should show the hirer that you are a good candidate. Now, it's also really important to know that a resume is a marketing piece, not a historical document. It does not have to be a complete record of everything you've done in your life. It just has to show that you are a good candidate for the position. So as such, it should target the job that you are applying for and be customized. Generally, it should be 1 page. I don't mind if it's 2 pages, if you can fill 2 pages. 1 page is generally okay, though, especially if you use the space judiciously. Obviously, it's very important to read the job description and the requirements carefully. Look for keywords in the description that you can implement and incorporate within your resume. And certainly, definitely have someone proofread your resume, because if you include errors in these materials, that will undoubtedly reflect poorly upon you. If you can't present these materials without error, then that is not necessarily giving your potential site supervisor confidence that you can produce high quality materials. When you are preparing your resume, it is really important to use action words to indicate the things that you have done as part of past experiences. Generally, we organize these things as bulleted points under those various experiences. So you see just a pretty wide variety, a good selection of different action words that are fairly common within resume structures. This isn't an exhaustive list, but it is a good list. Now, I want to talk about some examples of different resume styles, and there are a lot of them. The University of Washington Career Center provides a whole bunch of examples. I'm just going to whiz through a couple of these. The point of this, though, is not to tell you that there is one resume style that is the ideal resume style. There are actually many different types. And as you advance in your career, you may find that different formats suit you better. Here's one in which education is listed first, then various types of experiences. Notice that the headings here don't follow a traditional job experience, volunteer experience, extracurriculars, something like that. You can customize these various section headings to fit the job that you're applying for. Here's yet another one. In this case, highlighting some key experiences as well as bullet points. Notice, for instance, how cleanly formatted this resume is. It's very clear. the various sections. We have nice formatting from the left margin all the way to the right margin with bullet points. And using formatting consistently is critical to helping people navigate a resume. I have mentioned transferable skills before, and I definitely want you to think about how you're going to use those transferable skills from other experiences and apply them in this particular situation. We'll do an exercise in class where you can get into some of these transferable skills. None of the supervisors from the catalog are necessarily expecting you to have a lot of professional experience in environmental fields, but they do expect you to have some experiences that you can draw on. So understanding those transferable skills is really important. I hope that you will spend some time thinking about those things. Now, I know I told you there isn't one perfect resume format, but I am going to show you one that I think works extremely well for these capstone internship applications. Because as I said, I want you to customize your resume and your cover letter for each one of these internships that you're applying for. If you're applying for 5 or more internships, then that's a lot of customization. And I don't think it means that you have to totally rewrite your resume. Instead, I like what's called the summary of qualifications format. And here's how it works. You notice the heading, fairly standard, contact information. Then there's this summary of qualifications section, and then we get into some other fairly standard formats, education, relevant experience, and so on. That's great. What makes this type of resume unique is that the summary of qualifications section is a very straightforward area where you can customize the resume for each internship. Everything else in the resume can remain the same, but in this case, these 5 bulleted points should be unique to the internship for which the application is geared. So what I would do in this situation is I would review the description that the site supervisor put together. I would look for the keywords and the particular skills and attributes that they think are appropriate for a successful candidate. And I would craft bullet points using transferable skills, using past experience that highlight how you are a good candidate for that position. So the summary of your qualifications for this particular position. The advantage is it doesn't require you reformatting your entire resume, and it also puts those important qualifications right up at the top where they're easy for a site supervisor to find them. Now, how are you going to create those bullets? Well, I've already said you should use action words, and that is absolutely true. But I think you can be even more successful if you use the STAR method. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. And this is just an example of how you might use it to highlight skills like initiative, writing, and problem solving. So in this case, you're highlighting the situation. The trainees were learning too slowly and could not navigate the company's data tracking system. The task was to help trainees learn the system faster. The action that you took was initiated, wrote, and edited the first training manual for the company's data tracking system and revised the training program curriculum to implement the new manual. And the result, at the end of the training period, the trainees were ready to use the data tracking system. 2 weeks earlier than expected, the training manual was adopted across the company and it's still in use today. That's a lot of information, but it can be summarized. This is what the final summary might look like as a bullet point. Initiated, wrote, and edited the first training manual for company's data tracking system, which cut training period in half, was adopted across the company, and is still in use today. That is the STAR method in one bullet point. And if you can craft bullet points like this, that will demonstrate to the person looking at your materials that you have mastered those skills that they are looking for and that you can apply those skills. All right, well, that's just a brief summary of resumes and cover letters. I just wanted to make sure that you have this information as you're preparing your applications. If you have additional questions, please reach out to me. I'm very, very happy to talk with you about resumes, about cover letters, or anything having to do with application materials. I would also, again, strongly encourage you to check out the Career Center and take a look at the many resources they have available. You have a very great day, and I will talk to you again soon.